Right, we're on. Today I'm off to Glenbervie Golf Club in Scotland and I'm going to meet Jamie Allan. Jamie's going to have a look at my putting stroke on SAM Putt Lab. So Stephen Rosie at Glenbervie Golf Club has a cracking little putting section above the pro shop. Nice little den, so we're going to go in there and hopefully Jamie can sort my putting stroke. It'll be interesting to see. I have no idea what my face and path relationship is when putting. I've never really tested that. I've never actually been on SAM Putt Lab before. So I'm looking forward to finding out from Jamie where I can go right or where I can improve, or I might not need to improve. That'll be right. Anyway, let's go. Glenbervie Golf Club, that's the next stop.
Five putts.
Okay, so we're going to try left hand down and right hand down.
Yeah, left hand down and right hand down.
Okay, so we'll do 5 putts with each grip.
5 putts with each grip, then we'll just see the tolerance difference.
Okay. Which grip do you want me to do first?
You do cat-handed first.
Cat-handed. You're a cat-handed guy, Jay.
Well, I've changed the back to the conventional.
Have you? Is there a reason for that?
I wasn't
Wasn't holding enough putts?
Wasn't holding enough putts. Is that camera on?
It's on.
Yeah.
Oh. 5 front edge, eh?
Front edge. So after we've hit 5 putts, what I'll do is it's almost like a data report, so it'll give you a breakdown of what you do well, what you don't do so well. So it gives you kind of like a traffic light system where you've got green is really good. Everyone wants to have a green colour because that's when you know you're performing at your highest.
Okay.
Also, it's got amber, so that's kind of like the threshold of maybe you're not doing so well. There's work to be done, but golf's always a game of work that needs done. And obviously, red is the kind of panel where you're not doing so well. You've got quite a lot of work to do to get to the amber, so it's categorised into different colours and also brackets. So yeah, so it gives us 7 different stages, and what it'll do is it'll filter the information into what's most important. So it'll give you from the position of the club face aim at address. It will also give you a tolerance of how close you are to each number.
Okay.
So for example, to start off with, the face alignment is the big indicator of obviously where the ball starts and generally the shape of the putting stroke. Usually what happens is people have like a draw, like a push and pull bias. So
yep.
what I mean by that is if somebody sets up too far to the right, which I do, you'll have a tendency that we might have slightly an out-in pass, so you might have more of a kind of pull bias to get the putt back on the line.
Okay.
Or if you're set up more to the left, then what's going to happen is you're going to have more of a push bias, so you can actually try and get the putter face back on the intended start line so you can hold more putts. So it's amazing. The brain's an amazing kind of tool.
Absolutely. So where am I there then?
So where you are now is uncoachable. I'm only kidding.
Yeah, absolutely right.
So where we are here now, if you look at your face, if you look at your club face alignment at address, so your face is 2.3 degrees to the right, so the face is effectively open. There's not a lot of break on this putt, so obviously this is going back to the cat-handed method. Your face is 2.3 degrees open to the right, but as the club face gets to impact, it's a little bit, you can see there's a slight closing of the face, so it's went from 2.3 degrees open address and then it's 1.7 degrees open at impact. So usually what you'll find is there's a slight discrepancy, so the more you open at address, the more it's going to have to close.
Yep.
It's almost like a door open and closing. So what's going to happen from there, the tendency is your face is a little bit open at address, so you're having to close it slightly, so you're closing at 0.6 degrees. But if you look at the consistency element of it, you're doing it pretty accurately, so your conversion rate is 92% consistency. Obviously score's not really that important at the moment. So if you look at the bottom angle here, there's a phase change, so the face is closing 0.5 degrees, which what does that mean? So let's go on to let's go on to our checklist here. So this also measures the path of the putter. This is great. I think the main thing to look at here is the strike, where the putter's coming off the centre of the face relative to where you're aiming, and also face angle. I think a lot of people get too merged into the mechanics of it, we actually forget the skill level of hitting a putt. So if you look at there from the 5 putts, if you can see the putter path of your stroke, so the score is 81% consistent, so
Yep.
you're quite a good player, aren't you?
I'd like to think so.
And consistency level is 50%, but if you look at the path direction of your putter, pretty much
1.5 left.
but that's because you're setting up slightly to the right, the face is
Yeah.
slightly to the open. Your face is slightly open, so it's 2.3 degrees open at dress. And to simplify that slightly, if you aim more to the right, then you're always reluctant to cut across it. So out of those 5 putts, as you can see from there, most of your putts are, the path of your putter is mostly across the golf ball, so it's pretty much, the average is out at 1.5 degrees left.
Yep.
So coupled by an open club face, the path to the left, the tendency is
Trying to balance it
it's
out.
trying to balance it out. So it's, what will happen there is it's probably the face aim that's causing the most issue. So if you look at that, the putter path direction is 1.5 left, but the face is slightly open to that.
Yep.
So it's kind of almost like a ball that starts to the right, and if you can see from there,
So I'm 1.5 left and 3.2 open.
yeah,
So I mean 1.5 times 2 is 3, so it's kind of balancing itself out.
it's balancing it out. So if we go back,
Is that okay?
that's as long as it's functional.
Aye.
I mean,
Because it's the consistency thing's quite good because it's the same every time.
yeah.
So I suppose that's quite good. Whereas if that was TrackMan and we're hitting 5-iron, then we're going to shape it a lot more,
Yeah.
aren't we? Yeah.
And what you'll find is that now it's a straight putt, so our tolerance to get our eyes fixated on the middle of the hole, trying to get the ball at the centre of the face, it's quite a hard thing to do repeatedly. So if I go impact, so impact is consistent, so it's slightly high. You've got quite a bit of a forward press.
Yeah.
So that's
Aye,
what's
okay,
creating the
Aye.
ball to hit a little bit higher in the face, but usually if that was slightly scattered between the heel and the toe and low in the toe and heel, then what's going to happen is you'll get a bigger discrepancy.
Yep.
So you've hit 5 putts, and because you've got a slight notorious forward press, the ball's coming slightly higher off the putter face. I think that would be an issue if the ball was a little bit too scattered. Most people that struggle with distance control with putting, also speed control, is when the ball comes off the toe or heel, the ball loses speed.
Yep.
So it's trying to have a baseline of hitting the ball at the most consistent part of the putter face. But you've got a notorious forward press, so that's what's creating. It's almost like Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson has, I don't know, 5 or 6 degrees of forward shaft line address, which is always going to make the ball hit a little bit higher on the face. So it's coming off with effectively a little bit less spin.
Right, okay.
It's almost kind of top spin. So consistency, you're doing that pretty well. Usually what you'll find is a lot of people
So this is consistency?
yeah, so I mean usually what we'll do is we'll go through the kind of stages, and what you'll start to figure out is a lot of people that struggle with putting is they don't have a lot of green numbers, so there's a big discrepancy between the speed the ball's coming off the face, the directional control, and obviously just trying to get the ball to the hole. So the biggest thing that you can advocate to anyone that struggles with putting is trying to hit the centre of the club face.
Right.
I know that goes out with anything technical, it's just the biggest thing is trying to hit the centre of the putter face, because that's where you get the most ball speed and the ball won't deviate too much away from the start line.
So my impact position is quite consistent.
Your impact position is quite consistent.
High in the face but consistent. Paths consistently left and face consistently open at impact. At address and slightly open at impact in relation to path.
Yeah, so I mean it's
So if I just stick with this left hand low grip because of the consistency, can we try and move path and face at address to bring those numbers down a bit?
yeah. So what you'll start to figure out is, because the face is a little bit too far to the right, we're having to manufacture a stroke to try and align the face back up towards the intended target. So for example, if I had the face really closed, what you'll start to find is the player, or any player, might start to have a bit of a push bias just to try and square
Right.
the face up. But you're kind of the other end of the spectrum. I mean, because it's functional, would you if you came for a golf lesson, would you change it if it's working? Probably not.
Probably not. I would change it today for the
Yeah.
purpose of a video.
Yeah. So face direction slightly to the right, and we've established so far that the path's coming excessively across the golf ball, which is causing like a two-way kind of directional miss with the longer putts, because that's what we've established. We've hit some long putts outside. We're kind of consistently missing it to the left and to the right. So if we get a baseline of the face becoming a little bit more squarer towards your target there, I mean, but if you look at all the numbers coming down, there's a lot of green. There's a lot of green traffic. There's a lot of green lights there. So we're in a position where we can manage it pretty functionally. But what you'll start to find from there is there's a slight rise through impact. So we've got 0.2 degrees. So we've got a rise angle of 0.9 degrees. So what's happened is we're creating a little bit of loft at impact, but what's actually happened from there is because the club face is really open, you're having to kind of speed up the club face and hold the grip end back slightly just to try and add loft, but also just to try and square up the face. So you're actually effectively pushing the handle back the way just to square up the club face. So the club face is, I guess, is the barometer at the end of the day. So wherever that's aimed, we're having to manufacture a stroke around that to square it up. So
let's try then. Let's try and let's aim the face more left and try and swing more right.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
The backswing gets quite short. My forward swing, is there wasted energy on the way through?
Yeah. So if you look at the tolerance between backswing there and forward swing, so your backswing is significantly shorter compared to fall through. So it's almost like a last ditch acceleration.
Okay.
But what you find is Jordan Spieth, the best players in the world, obviously we always compare them to the high level elite athletes, but they have a slightly longer backswing and it's almost like a deceleration. So the club head doesn't really release much past the golf ball.
Oh, right, okay.
Whereas you have kind of like a short backswing and a little bit longer fall through, but it's usually kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. Longer backswing creates a shorter fall through, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So I think the main thing to focus on is just trying to get the putter face a little bit more aligned to where you're going.
So we're going to try, so this black line is at 90 degrees to the hole. When I look down at that leading edge in line with 90 degrees, the black line, to me it's pointing well left of the hole. And that's just identified that I am normally 2.7 open at address.
2.7 open and the face is close at 0.6 degrees. Well, it sounds like a huge amount of face change and closure, but it can make a huge difference to where the face is aiming. So the most important thing is just trying to align the face to where you want the ball to go. And this is a straight putt here now, pretty much. So we're going to pretty much go bang in line with the middle of the line. So this is the most simplistic training aid or cue that you can use.
Stand sideways and do it? Just so the camera can see. So there's the laser.
So I'll put that behind the putter face.
So Jamie's putting laser line.
Right, go for it.
Just putt straight from there?
Yeah, just putt for it.
Okay.
So every putt we hit, we're going to do the exciting stuff of lining the putter face up to where you're going. Right, go for it. And our putt's bang in line with the middle of the hole. Good. Right. Bang in line with the middle of the hole again. Oh, the wind was going to push that in there.
I'm aware that the club face is definitely pointing further left than where I was before.
It will feel like you're trying to hook it.
That's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah, I feel like you're trying to hook it. Just a little bit more to the left. It's better.
Really?
Yeah.
Honestly? Yeah.
That'll feel like you're almost trying to hit a high draw with a putter. Like, go for it.
That was good. That felt good.
Yeah. So the reason why when we were doing the video and the TrackMan threw out quite a high number is because your consistency levels actually went up, so your score off. Obviously what happened there is this line. So what happened there, the ball was a little bit lined out towards the toe, but what happened throughout the impact procedure is the face is slightly changed. Okay. So if you look at address position, obviously the putter was aimed, the golf ball was aimed a little bit out of the toe there, but then we changed it slightly. So your face at address has went from 2.7 to 0.8.
Yep.
And if you look at the position of the putter face at impact, it's now pretty much closing 0.8 degrees. So if you look at the kind of discrepancy of that, so the only thing we've changed there is face aim, and that's the most important thing when you're practicing. Practice like you're a kid, and what I mean by that is try try and experiment. So, okay, if the face is a little bit open at address, what it was before, how am I going to close the face? So just try and, you might...
So I've gone from, so I'm now averaging 0.8 open at address.
Yeah.
And square at impact.
Pretty much, yeah.
From
2.7.
2.7 open and 1.3 open at impact.
About that, yeah. Or 2.3 open at address before to 1.7 at open. So you were 0.6 degrees of closure. You've got 0.2 degrees more closure now, but the face is a bit more in sync with the line you're swinging on.
Quality.
So if you look at the direction as well, so just look at the change in path as well. Obviously this is not a magic tool, but if you just look at the difference in path of the putter head, so what we've done is we've lined the face more towards your intended start line, so the face has went from
1.5 left.
1.5 left the path, now it's 0.2 to the right. So
I've gone from 1.5 degrees left to 2/10 of a degree to the right.
Yeah, so that's
good.
Just that subtle change of the face being open to creating a pull bias across the ball, which is always inevitably going to happen if the face is slightly not aligned to where you want to go. So that's the kind of biggest advice I could give to anyone. If the face is slightly misdirected or miscontrolled, then what's going to happen? Their putter stroke's going to be based around the putter face aim. Vice versa, if the face was closed, I'm going to have to kind of create a push to just try and get the ball back on the hole. So if you look at the difference in path there, so it's went from 1.5 left to 0.2 to the right, so it's almost reverted back to the other way. So what you'll start to find is now the path's a little bit more from the inside, the ball will create a bit more speed.
Right, okay.
So it's coming off because you're not as light, so it'll come off a little bit more speed.
Scotty Cameron does putter fittings, he reckons that most guys are about 1 degree to the right.
Yeah.
When I played that putt, I felt as though I held it off a bit more, as in.
Yeah.
And you said before I was holding the handle back.
Yeah.
The club head passing the hand, so I felt as though it was a little bit more cover drive cricket.
Yeah.
Instead of flipping.
Yeah. So the face open. If you think if the face is open, you see a lot of golfers that come for full swing lessons who, if the face is usually 99% of people that hit iron shots, their face is open.
Yep.
So what happens at impact is they're having to speed the club face up, so it's almost like a flip.
Yep.
And hold the handle back, which
Yep.
automatically gets the club face to close. That's just a compensation move for trying to square the face up.
Yep.
And that adds loft. It can also create, it could create a bottom strike off the putter face, but because you've got quite a renowned forward press, you're having to flip, you're having to create a little bit more of a kind of holding the handle back the way, if the ball's still coming off high in the face.
Yep.
So you manage that consistently well. If I go to face aim there, so score 98.
Hold on.
So if you look at that there, obviously face angle to path before the face.
Say that percentage again, Jamie. 98.
There must be a glitch in the computer. So 98 consistency, that's pretty awesome, to be fair, to say the least. But if you look at the path change as well, so the path is now, the face angle is now closer to the path. So before the path was left, face was open to that, so that was round about sort of 3.7 open to the path before. So now we've married that up in a better angle, so the ball's going to pretty much start where the club face and path is, so it's kind of correlated back to that angle.
So Jamie, I've moved path massively there, and face, and really it was just from your skills and ability to understand that.
Yeah.
But all you did was you moved my face, which was open to begin with. You moved it square to target. I can't tell that it wasn't open in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, so, and then from there it changed my path as well. So you said to me, I would feel as though I'm swinging more into out and trying to hit draws with a putter. Yeah. That's exactly how it felt. So going forward, you suggest that's what I should do. I should visually feel as though I'm aiming slightly left to begin with, just a degree
or
so?
It's going to feel like that because you were used to the face being open as square. Then realistically what's going to happen is as we bring the face back round to a slightly more square position, that's going to feel psychologically left.
Absolutely. So when I'm on the putting green, I don't have SAM Putt Lab, so not a lot of people do. So we're very fortunate here at Glenbervie, you've got that. So how do I practice this on the golf course? So if can I Like, could I address a golf ball, take the ball away and put something on the ground to see where the face is aimed up? Like my mobile phone or something?
Yeah, so what you could do is you could...
So that's a great visual there, just having an A4 sheet of paper with a cross on it, to be fair.
yeah, so
I mean, we're fortunate we've got the laser here. But certainly that's brilliant. I was using
the iPhone.
I was using my phone to check, but I think the cross on the bit of paper, if that was a blank bit of paper just with the cross, I mean, it's awesome that it's got all the detail in there.
So it's trying to pretty much configure
that is superb, I love that. So that's a great, I mean, just a bit of paper in your golf bag.
Bit of paper in your golf bag. You can also use, I mean, there's lots of drills you can use that are simple without complicating it too much. So it's trying to get pretty much the T line, which is obviously the sheet that connects people up to the SAM Putt Lab, trying to get the laser, and so the line on your putter, the laser and the line facing the hole all in a straight line.
Aye.
So what you have from there, if you can get that part right, anything after that is just a... So anything after that, we're not too worried about it. We're just focusing on what's the impact.
Awesome. So you use the laser and check that bit.
So you're trying to get the two lines to match up. Black line, putter face, green line. I would go a little bit more left than that.
So let you set that.
So just set the putter up now. So that's pretty much on the right edge of the hole. I'm going to ready to set up that again.
You want me to set again?
No, just put the golf ball down and hit a putt. Obviously the ball might come off a bit quicker because we're on a slightly quicker green on an A4 sheet of paper that's been laminated, so the ball will come off a bit quicker. Good, so pretty much I'd go a little bit more that way. Now I feel it's a little bit of the toe now, but go for it. Just make a putt.
It's class, Jay.
Easy. Open qualifying this year, is it?
Absolutely. So that's brilliant. Jamie, thanks so much for your time. It's really, it's opened the eyes up to me. We decided at the start of the video we were going to do two different grips, left hand down, right hand down. I prefer left hand down as it is. The numbers were brilliant, they weren't brilliant to begin with, but it's great to understand it purely just by squaring my face up towards target at moved path. I didn't feel as though I moved path. I did feel as though, because face was a bit square, I had to hold it off a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which is a byproduct of standing with what looked to me as a closed face. Brilliant, so I know what to work on now. I think the A4 bit of paper, all the technology we've had and it's come down to an A4 bit of paper at the end, was really quite good. With a cross on it, that's huge, that's massive, I love that. Jay, thanks for your time.
No worries.
Absolutely brilliant.
Always a pleasure. Never.
You got a YouTube channel?
YouTube channel, Jamie Allan Golf.
Jamie
Make sure you
Allan Golf.
subscribe.
Absolutely, so subscribe to Jamie Allan Golf on YouTube. Jamie's at Glenbervie Golf Club. Thanks to Stephen Rosie and Jamie for their time here and the use of SAM Putt Lab.
Also follow my Instagram page.
Listen, what is it? Tell them.
Jamie Allan Golf.
Jamie Allan Golf, Instagram. Massive.